Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be posting yet another video today, and I am actually so excited for this one. It took a while for me to decide to post it just because there is a lot to talk about, so I am going to be dividing it into two parts. As you can see, I'm sitting on my bed because my chair broke, but that is alright, we will make it work. So if you're watching this video, it's probably because you have been thinking about studying overseas, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience studying in Australia. And yeah, this is my own personal experience, but I hope this helps you if you have been thinking about studying overseas. So for a bit of context, when I was 18, so I was just finishing high school, I moved to Australia to study my undergraduate degree, which was a Bachelor of Architectural Studies. So before leaving, I had so many doubts. I was so nervous because I hadn't even been to Australia before. I didn't know if I was going to like my degree. I didn't know if I was going to make any friends. I was scared there would be like too many like language barriers or cultural shocks. And yeah, like all these questions were like constantly popping through my head and like making me doubt if I should go or not. But after having finished my degree and like actually doing it, my advice is just go for it. Like hands down, it was the best experience of my life and I wouldn't change it for anything in this world. In my opinion, like don't doubt yourself, just go for it. And if you don't like it while living there, and like if it's too hard or if it's just not for you, you always have the choice to go back home. But yeah, I would just say like take the risk and it will definitely be worth it at the end. So today I'm going to be dividing this video into three parts because it is a lot to talk about. So first I'm going to be talking about the application process. Then I will be briefly discussing how I got the scholarship to go there and all the visa process. And then finally I will talk about just like in general my life at Bond University. So if you like this video, please interact with it, and I will be posting more college content in the future. And also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. I post lots of college videos, and I will be also uploading travel content and lifestyle videos. So yeah, let me stop talking for now and get straight into this video. In this part of the video, I'm going to be talking about the admissions criteria to get into Bond University as an international student. So the admissions process is pretty straightforward and it's all done through an online application form. But let me talk about like each specific requirement real quick. So the first really important one is to be above 17 years of age, and then you need to have completed and provide a certificate of year 12 of high school, which is senior year or equivalent if you're an international student. And in my case, because all my transcripts and my certificate were in English, I needed to get them translated by an official translator and to get them evaluated. So that was done for me, and it just cost like I think $50 to get it done back then. I'm not sure how much it is now. And then you needed a minimum entry score, and this will depend on each country or like where you're from. If you're Australian, you just need to have an HR score of 65 or above, which is the Australian tertiary admissions rank, or an OP, which is the like Queensland admissions like ranking system, and you need to have like 14 or above, I'm pretty sure. And then if you're an international student, it will vary on each country. Like there's just going to the Bond University webpage and check like what the admissions criteria is for each country. For Argentina, for example, you needed to have finished high school, as I said before, and to provide a certificate for that, and you needed an SAT score. But I know they accept like other examinations such as A-level or I'm not very sure what the other ones are, but just please check, or IB for example, so just please check on the university's webpage. So that was the second entry requirement. And then for architecture, you needed a portfolio. This will again vary for each degree. Because I was applying for architecture, you needed to like evidence your design thinking and your creativity through a portfolio, which was a maximum of 6 pages, including the cover page, and it couldn't exceed like 10 megabytes, I think. And you just like needed to have a variety of like artwork in design, like in different mediums. So it could be like freehand drawing or painting or graphic design or illustrations or crafts or maybe something that's photography related. So it was pretty broad and it was very fun to make. I personally enjoyed making this portfolio. If I were to make it now though, I think there was a lot of room for improvement, but back then I did put a lot of effort into it. I think it took me like 3 months to get it done, but because I did it like very slowly and took my time for each drawing, and like you just needed to include as well like a little paragraph or text explaining what you were trying to like show through that art, and it was very fun to make. I enjoyed it a lot and I was pretty happy with the outcome back then. Again, as I said, I looked at it recently and I was like, wow, like this could have been a lot better, but you know, that's just me being a perfectionist. But no, that was actually so fun to make because I got the chance to like draw, and I don't know, just it was a very exciting time in my life. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be going to University of Australia if I do this really well, and I just like put all my effort into it, and I think my passion showed through that. And what else? So you also need an English proficiency examination if you're an international student, and I think Bond University accepts the IELTS and the TOEFL IBT, and I decided to take the TOEFL IBTs, which is the TOEFL internet-based test. And if you know English, the actual exam is pretty easy because you don't actually need to study any content because it's just like testing your English skills. But what I do think that's very important is practicing and like doing lots of practice tests. There are a lot of online resources, and like even on the TOEFL or like ETS webpage, you can find lots of mock and practice tests. And I think like it is important you take those before actually going to your examination center and taking the test, because it is a 4-hour exam, and I think it's essential to understand their way of testing. So it's divided into 4 sections. The first one is reading. You get 3 to 4 passages and have to answer like 12 to 14 questions on each one. And then there's a listening part to it where it's like also an hour long, and you have to like listen to a few audios, or you get shown videos, and then you have to answer like as well. I think it's a few questions on each video, and most of them are multiple choice. Some of them like are reorganizing sentences to explain what's happening. So just like practice a lot of tests so you can get used to the sort of questions that they usually test, because then on that day it won't be that scary if you're like presented with a question, because like you've already seen similar examples. And then you get a 10-minute break after that, and then you have the speaking section where you have to like speak multiple times. And I think for this part, what was very helpful for me, you're given a few like blank pages to take notes on, and you're given a prompt, and then you get 15 to 20 seconds to kind of prepare what you're going to say, because then you get like a beep sound, and then you have to start speaking, and then you get a time slot, and you have to like fill up that time slot as you speak. So if you like quickly in those 15 to 20 seconds jot down just everything you want to say, you won't get lost in your thoughts, and then you'll have like the opportunity to look down at your notes and like quickly regain track of what you are saying, or just maybe if you start speaking you lose track of, you know, the main point you are trying to prove, and then you can go back to your notes and keep on speaking to actually complete that time. Also be very aware of the time, so like you don't finish your like sentence halfway. That was very important for me, and I think for like 2 of the speaking parts that happened to me, where I just like lost track of time, stopped looking at the clock, and then it was a mess. I think that's the worst I did in that part, because even though I like took down notes, I actually forgot to look at the time, and then I just got caught halfway, and that was very disappointing, but that's all right. I'm sure you can do better than I did. And then in the writing section, it's another 15 minutes, and you have to write 2 essays. So you just read a passage or like a text, and then you have to provide like a response to that or give your opinion on something. And I love writing, so this was a fun part for me, and I actually enjoyed it. And overall, I think the test is out of 120 points or 125. I can't remember exactly, but I ended up doing really well, except on the speaking section, which is the one I struggled the most in. But yeah, please practice for this test, and I promise you will do well. I also wanted to show you, to practice, I got this textbook, and it was actually really helpful, because personally I like do a lot better when I have like a textbook and I can take down notes and like highlight things, but there are a lot of online resources, so this book is not necessary at all, because there is actually no content you have to like you have to study. But it just helped me to have like something I could write on and highlight, and this textbook just explained how the test worked and each section in detail, and then it had lots of practice tests and like a DVD at the end that you could just insert into your computer, and it just had just some mock evaluations that just helped me get ready for that test. But yeah, for the admissions criteria, this was about everything, and I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. Okay, so quickly moving on to scholarships and funding. I'm going to talk about the scholarship I got, but I know Bond University offers lots of like scholarships for international students as well, so please check the webpage where like they explain which scholarships they offer and see which scholarships you're applicable for. So I got the International Excellence Scholarship, and this covered 25% of my tuition. But I know it can cover up to like 70%. Well, I don't know how much like you can get up to, but I knew people who had like 70% of their tuition covered by this scholarship. And as an international student, the application for this scholarship was pretty straightforward as well. So you just had to provide evidence of your leadership through a statement of purpose and give like supporting document to that. So you had to like explain why you were applying for the scholarship and what you had to offer and what you were about and all your passions. And through like high school, I participated in lots of extracurricular activities which helped me in this application, and I just put them as supporting like statements towards why I felt like I deserved to get the scholarship and why I thought I would be like a very valuable asset to the Bond community. And yeah, that was basically it for the scholarship. And then after I was awarded that scholarship, you just had to be enrolled in a full-time basis throughout your program, and you had to maintain an average of 65% or above in all your subjects in your specific program, and then you had to like participate in promotional activity for Bond University if you were ever asked to do so, and you had to like meet all the terms of the scholarship. But yeah, that was about everything you needed to do for this scholarship. But again, please check, because they do offer lots of like sports scholarships and stuff if you aren't eligible for this one in particular. And then I was quickly gonna talk about my visa process. So you have to first be accepted into the program. Once you get accepted, you can start applying for your visa to go to Australia. And I applied for the student visa, and to be honest, this was a very stressful process for me because I only got accepted into Bond, I think it was in November, and I was leaving to go to Australia. My first semester began, I think it was the 8th of January. So like all this process was super quick for me, and I had to like rush everything, and it was very, very stressful. I only got my visa 2 days before leaving, and I was just like praying, and it was just the worst experience. So please, like, if you are applying and are an international student, please allow for like a lot of time to get your visa, because sometimes this process can be delayed, like in my case, and then there's just like nothing you can do. You might have to like get to your first day of, you might not make it to your first day of class, so you don't want that happening. Thank God things worked out for me, but yeah, the anxiety was not worth it. So make sure you have time and like allow, I don't know, just a month or two before your degree starts for the visa to actually come. So yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And the visa is just all like online forms you have to fill out. There's no interview, at least there wasn't in my case. You might be asked for an interview, but I wasn't, at least. And yeah, I got my visa given for the 2 full years that my degree lasted. What I did forget to mention, I think, was that Bond University has accelerated degrees. So what I would be doing in 3 years, I actually did in 2. So a Bachelor of Architectural Studies at any other university in Australia is 3 years, but a Bond, it is only 2 years, because you fit like 3 full semesters into 1 year. You don't get much holidays in between, but I think it's like still good time to rest, and you do finish your degree ahead of time, which I like graduated being 20 years old, which was like, wow, I feel like a baby. But I don't know, it was just like you learn a lot during those 2 years, and you do feel ready once you've graduated. So yeah, that's why I was only given my visa for 2 years. But I like, once I was there, then I applied for a graduate visa, and I was able to stay for another 2 years as well, which I had to come back because of COVID, so now my visa is going to waste. But that's all right, that's a whole other story. Anyways, I hope this section helped you as well. If you have any questions, again, please leave them in the comments. Okay, so I was planning to talk about my experience studying at Bond University in this video as well, but I thought I would cut it into 2 parts and talk about my experience in a later video, also giving you a chance to ask any questions that you have about my whole experience studying at Bond University, living on campus, dorms, social life as an architecture student. So if you do have any questions on those topics, please leave them in the comments, and I will be happy to address them in my next video, where I will talk about my overall experience studying in Australia. But I thank you all very much for watching today's video. If you haven't yet, please remember to subscribe to my channel, and I can't wait to see you all next time.